Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Okay, so anyway, we're going to look and see how strong things are right now. The British pound got real strong all of a sudden within about the last 15 minutes. So we're looking at the strength of the British pound, the CAD, and the New Zealand. British pound, CAD, New Zealand on the 15 and 30. That looks all good. So we're going to be trading to those strengths and be looking at the dollar, the yen, and the Swiss for weakness. And we're going to try to stay out of the Aussie and Euro for right now because we don't know which direction they're going to go. Check our news for the day. Right now we're on May 27th. There was some British pound news right around 7 o'clock this morning, and it actually did drive the British pound pretty strong. So even though it's a yellow folder, it did seem to have quite a little bit of an effect on it. At 8:30, we have a couple of red folders: preliminary GDP news on the U.S. dollar and unemployment claims. That's red and orange folder. We'll try and remember that around 8:30. If we see some strong moves with the U.S. dollar, we may want to either take advantage or just stay out of that. Then there's another orange folder here at 10 o'clock. Pending home sales. Not sure how that's going to affect the price of things, but those are some ones to take into consideration. So all that, again, we're going to be looking at the strength of the pound, CAD, New Zealand, weakness of the Swiss, yen, and US dollar. Let's go to the charts. There they come. And let's see, let's take a look at our map here. We've got the Euro Aussie. Those were two in the middle that were not in anything. We'll take a look at the chart on this. I'm not expecting to see too much on here. We are in a right tight zone. You can see red zones. We're on a 15-minute chart, and we probably only have just a few pips in between. There's only 13 pips in between. Not enough room to trade, so we'll get rid of that one. Not pay any attention to that. Let's go to the nothing on the New Zealand. Let's go to our indexes. Check those out. We are right now. We're in the European session, so the German 30 and the UK 100 would be open and into their trading day. So we'll take a peek at that as well. I did look at the German, the British Swiss earlier, and this is where that real strong move up. We had a little bit of a pullback. I actually marked this out and seeing if it was going to come back. We had the strong move up. It had a high. Now right up to the top here, you'll see this is that upper 25% zone, this little blue area. It came straight up, pulled back a little bit, pulled back not quite to this shaded area. I would like to see a little bit higher pullback, but I do suspect that this thing may still keep on going up, but I'm not getting into it because it's right now it's at the upper of the move. I'd be looking more for a pullback, strong pullback, come back down, retest the high, and then go lower. So we have this stuff marked right now. I'm going to take this area off because I'm not going to trade this with this move right now. So this rectangle, I'll delete that shaded area, but we'll keep an eye on this one. If it comes back up, it could go up. I would not be surprised to see it at this 88.2 level pull back, but I'd like to see it cross below this heavy blue line, cross below that, close below it, pull back to retest this high, give us a nice little trend from this, whatever high this ends up being, to this area. I'd like to see a close below this little pivot, the last pivot that it made. Here's a high, here's a low, here's a higher high, here's a higher low. I'd like to see that get closed out, maybe form a trend line from this point along here, get the break of that, and then maybe see if we can maybe get a little move to the downside. So that's kind of what the pattern I'm looking for. Looking for maybe we'll go up a little bit higher, come back down, break through here, retest this trend line, and come on down. If it hits the trend line, goes back up higher, we'll just readjust our trend lines. So we're just going to hold off on that one for a bit. And let's see, let's go to the German 30. That's the one I do. I like trading the German 30. That does give me some nice pips usually during the day. It's in a nice little trend here. Right now it's in the middle of a range. And so let's see what the range is here. Measure this from red zone to green zone. That is about $95 worth of move here. Now remember, this thing is like 15,476 is where the top of this level is. So 14,000. Let's see.
Good morning, Al.
15,400. This the white line with oh, morning, Matt. Welcome.
How are you?
We don't have Eva today, so we have Christine helping with the. We're doing fine. We're just checking out this German 30 right now. So I like to range on this. I'd like to range on this German 30. Matt, can you hear us?
I can.
Yes.
I can hear
Hello,
you just
Matt.
barely. Hello.
Yeah, you're a little low, Matt. Okay.
Am I?
Okay.
Now you're great. Now
Yeah,
you're
guys, I was wondering because it seemed like you were. Okay, so here we go. Here we have here's our downward range. Here's the top of the red zone. Here's the down move. Here's the wick below. And right now I'm going to be looking. Well, so we need to get our moving averages up here. My computer's running a little bit slow today, but we'll just have to live with that. And what is this? My foot just froze here. Come on. Template. Look. And did I lose everybody? Or is everybody still there?
I'm
still here, Al.
Boy, I'll tell you what, something's really running slow today. Okay, I'm trying to get my moving averages up in here.
Yeah, my computer's been terrible all morning, so I don't know what's going on. I'll blame it on the
I'm wondering if
How about that?
Yeah, I don't know either. It's I think it may be because well, there's been some strange things happening this morning. So if we lose everybody, there's a chance I might have to reboot, and if we do, I'll just reboot and get back on again. So just bear with us. I just said my computer was working just fine yesterday. I'm not sure what's going on today. The internet's either running slow or I'm having a hard time. I don't know what's going on. I looked up my template and only one moving average showed up, which is a little strange. There we go. That one worked. Okay. Let's try this again. We'll see how long we can go until something happens here. And I'll get my trend line, my Fibonacci's. I'm going to go right from this high. I'm going to just go right from the red zone down to the pivot. Look and see where my range is. Right now, everything is, the yellow and green are starting to cross a little bit. Actually, it crossed over, pulled back a little bit. This thing looks like it still could have some room to the upside, but it's, this is a strong move down. Here's the pull back. It came back 61%. Reached the arrow moving average, but it held, but the 62 moving average held. I still kind of favor this a little bit to the downside. The euro was right in the middle of the range of the currencies, so there wasn't any real strength to that. But I was looking at, I see a little top here, a top here.
And it's also been going down for the last little bit, right?
Yeah, it's been, well, it's been kind of range bound a little bit, right? I mean, right, this was certainly range bound over in the night last night. Here's the overnight, here's the break of the new day. Here's the money zone. I'm kind of looking at with this is just seeing how it broke the, looks like it made a new low from yesterday's low. So it is breaking down some. Right now it's coming right back to retest where yesterday's low was. Here's the money zone range from the overnight session. This was the break of the break. Right about off of this, it broke, came back down, retested, and then dropped on down. So right now it's retesting this zone right here where it broke from the overnight. Let me go check my Fibonacci's here. I did change the color of my shaded areas just so that maybe they can show up a little bit better today. Let's see what everybody thinks.
Okay. We're ready.
Here's my, there's the upper zone, there's the zone, upper zone. It's a little bit darker so I can see those lighter colors in between.
Okay.
I did find a way to change the, shade of the default colors. Here's my lower 25% in that area. And then here's our 61. It is just really running slow today, but it's just something we're gonna have to live with, I guess. That or a reboot's the only other option I know of.
For today. I shared a picture of.
Okay, so here's our range. Now let's look and see. Oh, okay.
In the chat
so
there.
where's your pitchfork going? What direction is this one?
It's actually going.
Right now the range on this thing is about, we've got $12 range in between these blue zones. It is have a little upward trend, flat top. The question is it going to break out of the bottom? If it breaks out of this lower 38, it's probably going to come on down to retest. Right now, it's sort of right now it's stuck in between the 61 and 38. It's right stuck here in the middle. And you'll see if you look over to the left, this is where it came down, tested it, pulled back, came back down, tested, pulled back out, came down, tested, went through it, came back up, retesting it. So the question is, which way is it going to go? And right now, I don't know. All we can do is plan the trade and see what happens, see what it does. If it closes below, right now it's inside the wedge. And I may change this a little bit here. I'm looking to see, I don't know where this is going to pull back, where it's a stop to get rejected. So I'm going to use, I like that pivot. I also like this point right here. So we're just going to kind of hold that. I'm going to take it right about to where the bodies of these candles are. This was an extreme move. This was a sort of almost like a head fake where it came right back down into the zone. And there are a lot of buyers that came in to push it back up again, reject it. This is a nice move right through here. Here's the anchor, or you can move. We can actually do two trend lines on this. We can do a parallel trend line. And I'll do that sometimes where we have this parallel that covers that wick. So here's just the wick. Here's the origin of this upward move. Came back down, tested it. That's the anchor, the first hit. Here's the third hit right now. Now it's trying to decide what it's going to do. I can see where it could probably break, test this bottom one, which would be in parallel with this lower wick. There's about, let's see how much room, how big is that wick? That wick is looks like it's about a 16 unit wick, almost 17 units. So that's a nice little, that could be a nice little whipsaw. That could be a little head fake. But right now it's still congested. We got all our moving averages are consolidating inside as this thing gets out towards the end of where this little wedge is. So right now it's not ready to be confirmed which direction it's going to go. And it could kind of, it has the potential of whipsawing us a little bit. Whipsaw us down here, go up here, whipsaw us up here right into the zone. I'm just going to stay away from this until we get a little bit clearer direction, a little bit more direction of which way it's going to go. But right now it's still range bound inside this area. And just have to be careful with it. Let's go to a lower time frame chart and see if we can find something else that may be a little bit more conclusive. Let's see. Here's the anchor. Here's the first hit. Here's the third hit. Get a little bit of rejection off of this point. We might have some room to the upside. The green and the yellow are crossing. They're right at the same price right now. I get a little bit of a punch up. This would be the target. If it breaks through here, this moving average would be the target. And we'd be looking at a possibility of pip-wise, we're looking at about 21 unit move. I actually kind of like this, kind of liking this to the upside, actually. It'd be a real quick scalp. Close up to the 15,
if you were to
pull
take
back,
it, if you were to take it long, Al, what would your potential target be? Would you look for like
61.8 level?
15,430?
I would probably just go right to this area.
15,420.
Yeah, about the 15,419.
Got it.
Yeah, 14,420. That would probably be my target. That would be my target. Right now, the price is it'd be about 13, I'll call it $13 move. I like seeing 15 on these things. Here's it's a pretty gradual, you can see where it's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, lower low. So right now, this could be a point where it's going to reject and come back lower. So right now, it's just really tight. I'd rather see a little bit more. If it were back here and I had the same picture, I'd be a little bit more apt to take it. But this would be a really quick scalp, and you may not get your spread out of it. So, but we're going to keep an eye on that one as well. So I'll just put that one off to the side and take a look at the. There we go. And take a look at the UK 100s. See if that gives us any type of a. There we go. Let's take a look at that one. Somebody keep an eye on that German 30 for me. If it starts breaking out or starts doing something real violent, let us know.
Will do.
This one seems pretty range bound right now too. If we look and see where the British pound is, British pound is strong, so that would give me rise to think. Generally speaking, this is not confirmed, or this is my theory, is that if the British pound is strong, that the UK 100 is going to go weaker. So I would probably favor this to the downside based on that and that alone. I haven't really done any analysis on it other than that's what it seems to be doing, just like the euro and the British 30 and the US dollar and our S&P 500. Everything's moving in the down direction. We're on a 15-minute chart. We're somewhat range bound. This is the range from here to here. That's about a 39 unit move. Plenty of room to take some profit or to get in and out of a trade, but it's kind of stuck here in this green zone with another green zone right below it. I would draw the Fibonacci's. It's in a downward trend, so I'm going to look at the upward move as it's coming to the down, but it's going to be right down the lower 25. I'm pretty sure. From here to here. There's our range. And actually, the fact that the pound is weak, I think I'm going to draw this in the opposite direction. Because this way, if it pulls back, comes back in, if it breaks through this and the pound is weak, it could give us our lower target down below this green zone if it can break through that. I'm not sure that it will, but we'll try to see what we got. So I'm going to go from here to here. That seems to be the range from the overnight from yesterday. This is basically yesterday's range. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low is in between the two. We'll see if it can break through the bottom or if it breaks through the top, or if it just stays within this range today. Here's our daybreak. Here's our overnight low. Broke through, it wicked down, didn't close below. Here's the overnight high area, wicked up right into the zone, was rejected. This thing could give people some problems today. I do like we'll draw the zones, fill in the blanks on this one. Here's the lower 25, i.e. the lower 23.6, right in here. And here's the upper 23.6. I'll take it right from the daybreak. Coming on over. You see these shadowed areas where these rectangles overlap. It will give you an idea of where everything is. You can see where the money zone is right in here. Here's the upper 23 for the high. Yesterday's upper 25. The lower 25 from yesterday's range. And we're right at the bottom. So I'd be really actually kind of looking to see this thing go to the upside to maybe give us some pips on a counter trend trade. And so I'm going to mark off my ranges of my 31, my 38, 50, and 62, so to speak. Mark these off. Use these for, we can pretty much, once we get this thing drawn, we can pretty much keep this on the chart for the balance of the day until it gets broken. Right now, here's my range. Upper 25, lower 25. Here's the middle of it. I'd like to see it pull back out, come back in, retest it, not break this low, and then go up higher. But in the meantime, we're going to see, right now I'm more apt to see this thing come down, pull back up into this 38, and then possibly go lower. So I'm going to remove this Fibonacci, keep the zones. So we have our range, we have our target range. Now we're going to be looking for a possible trade. So I'm going to take it from this. This was we had an up arrow and then the down arrow. I'm going to use this point. I'm going to use this area right in here, this whole move down, and see how much it's going to retrace with the new Fibonacci's that we draw. I'm going to use this for the high. Here's the low. Now remember, we're already in that lower 25% of this move, but we're still looking for a pullback, enough of a pullback to where we may have enough of a target. So I'd like to see a pullback of probably at least 10, let's see, this would be 10 units. This is right, 1008. Actually, that's 10.08. I'd look at it that way. Prefer to see it come up to, I'd like to see somewhere between this 50 and 30% retracement. Comes back up into where all these moving averages are. I'm going to draw another zone. And let's see, here's where the bulk of the moving averages are. So I'm going to be using this range, the 50 to the 38. And I may even pull this one up just a little bit higher to take the middle of that zone and put it right in there. If the price comes up into this area with a strong pullback, it'll give us enough room to maybe take the trade short and maybe get a few pips out of it. Right now, it's not even out of the 23%. I usually see at least a 23% retracement, but the fact it's so close into this zone, I don't know that's got enough for the move to the downside to be able to give us our target. That's why I want to go back a little bit deeper. If I did take it from the 23 to here, that's only, that's about a $8 move. Not sure what that would do for us. I like to see at least, I like to see a 15 unit move before I get into a trade. I'm only going for 5 to 7. And keep in mind that the reason why I do that is because I can take a larger lot size with a tighter stop. If you go into swing trading and you have a 100 pip stop, let me do the calculator here a little bit, see if I can bring this up and show everybody. You see the calculator? Tell me yes.
Not yet.
Not yet.
There we are. Yeah, when
Okay,
you're using a 100 pip stop loss, you're not making any money.
No, I don't have the, right. So if you have I like to use a 15 pip stop. So let's say we're looking at a Euro US pair for all practical purposes. And this is some people may not have seen this before. Here's our calculator. This is up for the Euro US pair. And you see the different pairs have different values per standard value. And see that most of your, like the Euro US, most of your US pairs are going to have a $10 value. Now this will change if I go to, say, like the Aussie New Zealand. look at the standard value of this 10. If you go to the Aussie New Zealand, see the standard value 7, you see the lot size changed. The lower the value, the larger lot size, because the pip is worth less value per pip. So if we're going to, I'm going to go with the Euro US. Go to the Euro US, and let's say you're a swing trader and you're going to use a 100 pip stop, which is pretty typical for swing trading. You have a 100 pip stop, you have a $3,800 account, 2% risk, I'll be risking $77. If with the $77 risk with a 100 pip stop, the lot size that I can use is a 0.077. But if I have that same pair, same risk value, and I can bring this down to a 15 pip stop, which is what I generally do, you'll see that the lot size is going to go from a 0.07 to a 0.5. So I can take quite a bit larger lot size. I'm having the same risk, but I have a tighter stop, and I can go for 1% with a 0.5 lot size and make more money than I can with a 100 pip stop. And that's why I go with that way I get into the trade, get in, get out, and life goes on. Now I'll sit here and watch the trade while I'm having it. But if I can get a couple of trades, usually I'm in and out within 15, 20 minutes. We go to an index. Let's go to the US 30. This is the S&P.
Not to cut you off or
Yes.
nothing, but I think I wish I had a better setup. But I'm looking at the DAX for a long, and it's a short long. It's not super long, if you know what I mean.
The DAX, like
German 30.
The G30.
Yeah.
The German 30.
Yeah, it's at
German
at the
30
bottom.
for a long. Okay, it's starting to set up.
It's kind of at the bottom of my price channel. And then I have a channel to the upside. My exit is going to be like 426 potential.
426, which is pretty just a little bit below the 200 moving average.
Right, and that's why I liked it.
Let's go to a 1 minute chart here.
Oh, there it goes.
We had this is a nice little move. This is a nice little move up.
Yep. So
I'm still looking at this trend line here. See if it breaks that trend line.
Boom, gone.
It's boom. It's gone. Target done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, sorry, guys. That was really fast, and I wasn't 100% sure because it wasn't an arrow trade, right? And I didn't want to. Anyway, whatever. I just let me give you an idea of how.
This was the German 30.
Sheesh. Look at that thing. It's off your screen now. It's off my screen.
Yeah. Here's a quick, let's take a quick look at the euro right now and see where the euro is on this whole thing.
Boom.
Let's go to boom. Here's the euro. The euro is still in the middle. Euro's weak.
We have your chart, the calculator. There you okay.
Yeah, there it goes. The euro is, well, on the 15-minute chart, the euro is weak, so the German 30 went up. So there again, that helps to confirm that when the euro is weak, the stock markets, the indexes tend to go up. I don't know how you would have gotten in that. I couldn't have taken it until it would have maybe got a bounce off of here, but it just blew right through it. But now it's right up into that upper 25% zone.
Yep, and that's where I got out. I'm out.
Yeah.
So give you an idea, guys. On a 0.01, that trade from the entry, Al, if you're cool with it, maybe I'll share my screen and I'll show you how I got in and whatnot. How about that?
All right, I'll stop sharing and you got the charts.
Okay, I'll show you guys how I did it. A little bit more advanced, but it's fine because I'll try to simplify it. Let me just share my screen. I'll try to make this as simple as possible. If it doesn't make 100% sense, I apologize in advance. So what happened here is I've got a couple things on my screen that I've been using for a little bit, okay? Just so you guys are aware, I'm using this indicator called Bollinger Band %B, okay? It's a length of 34, standard deviation of 2. Then I'm using a stochastic with 833 in it, and then I have this combination of RSI with a length of 7. Okay. What I did at first, when I looked at the chart, the first thing I did was I wanted to identify where, here, I'm going to put the arrow exactly where my entry was, right here. Okay. And then you'll see what I did, and it'll probably make sense. What I did is I went on a higher time frame. And I kind of wanted to have an idea of what was going on in a higher time frame. Then I brought it down and I looked for a price channel. So this would be the 1 minute price channel of this. So when I saw it break down here, I was curious. I said, okay, well, you came down, but you didn't continue going down, which led me to believe that this was going to be a head fake. So if this was a head fake, which we see happen all the time in the world of wedges, right? There's a little wedge down here, and then it came back into this trend line. Because it came back into this trend line, I took the trade right here. My stop loss was right here at the bottom of this candle. This is a little different because this is my stop loss and this is my entry. Okay. So from a risk to reward perspective, whatever I risked in here, so that's 11, what is it, 11 pips or 111 pips? 11, yeah, it's 111 pips or so, 119 pips. What happens is every time it goes this distance, I'm going to make whatever I risk in the trade. So in this scenario, I put, say you put 0.01, and so your 0.01 lot size. So if you lose the trade, you might lose like $15. Okay. By winning this trade, my original target was here, but I took my take profit off because I wanted to ride it up to about here when I started seeing some hesitation. So my risk to reward on this trade, I ended up taking a profit of 3 times my risk in this trade because I took the bounce off of this trend line. So when RSI was at the bottom here, I had a really strong belief that this was the bottom of the run. And with these other indicators that kind of helped to confirm that, and this was a higher low in price action, as soon as it came into this this price channel, I took it. And it didn't matter that there was a red zone here, because on arrow there was a red zone. So I took it through the zone and then we just exited there. I know that was a whole bunch, but that's probably as simple as I could put it together.
Okay. It is a different technique. It is a little different technique using different indicators. Nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of what works for you and what you get used to. Yeah.
And that is something I've been testing and working on with the indices in gold for the last couple weeks, but I'm not at a point where I want to go out and say, hey guys, it's a 90% system, because I don't know what the real win rate would be for someone else. So that's, anyway, if I see another setup, we'll take it and we'll try to run with it. Sorry for taking away.
No, thanks, Matt. Al,
Yes,
Rowan and Jadiana would like to know about accessing the risk calculator.
Yeah, probably the best way to do it is, let me put something, get the email in the
Could you
in the
please?
chat box.
Thank you.
And it'll be, I'll put it to all panelists here if I can, all panelists and attendees.
Oh.
And it's TRE.
Look at that retrace. Sorry.
Trading Masters, that's not misspelled. It's TRAID as AI as an artificial intelligence, DE Masters at masters@gmail.com. There you go. That's the email. Send your email with your request, and I'll see if I can get it to you. I think there is I think you can access in the back office, but I haven't tried it lately to see if they fixed the glitches with that. So this is yeah. Right now, looking at this German 30, it's strong move up. That must have been some sort of news announcement of some sort that drove it up like that. Drove right up into our upper 25%. Pulled back down. I'd like to see a 5-minute close. Right now, look at that wick. There was a straight up. That was the big wick. That was one where they're getting everybody sucked in. Now they're taking everybody's stops. If we get the close below here, below the 61 on the 5-minute, I like seeing a 5-minute close more so than just 1-minute close. But right now, here's our trend line. We had I didn't really, well, based on what my charts are, I didn't have a head fake on the bottom here. I just had down, move down. There was a little bit of a trend going up here. This was that little head fake that Matt was talking about. If you were to take this trend and move it on up,
mine was a little tighter because I didn't go all the way down, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could justify like here was a low, here was a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So this was the trend. All those little lower, higher lows. Here's the trend. Here's the break. This was the head fake, and then it came back up into trend, and then he got the alert to come in, or the signal for based on his signals he was using. Now, what I liked seeing is I saw this trend, this blue line, and also had this trend line. It came up. It went right through. It never stopped to take it. If it would have stopped and pulled back a little bit, then we could have gotten into this. This was just one straight move. You're either in it or you weren't. I don't feel bad about missing this because it never gave me a chance to get back in. But now we have this. I'm going to use this got broken with a head fake, but I'm going to bring this on down to that. This was the origin of the move. Now we're going to see if it's going to come down, break through here. If it breaks through this, we're looking at a 5-minute. Let's see, what time is it right now? We should get in about 1 more minute. This candle's going to close. If this candle can close below this 50, then I'm going to be looking at possible Fibonacci retracement. If it can close below the 50, close below this trend line right here, it may give us an opportunity to go short if the moving averages are all in the right direction. Came up, broke this 200. This was still pointing down. We're looking for the cross of the green over the yellow, and I'm going to go on the 1-minute chart to look for that. We have the cross. We're hitting the trend line. This thing could possibly give us a nice little short coming down. I'm going to be looking at this move down with a little bit of retracement, maybe back up to this trend line. Here's our move down. Here's our retracement. I'm looking at the 23 to 38.
Just a little thing for people who haven't traded a German 30, please. The only piece of guidance that I'm going to provide is whatever you use for a stop loss, make sure you put it in there. Do not trade this thing without a stop loss.
This thing is pretty volatile. It's a pretty volatile index to trade, but it can be very profitable if you can get on the right direction.
Yep. So
here's our strong move down, and you can see like it had no hesitation at all coming on up, and you can see it didn't have a whole lot of hesitation coming down. And right now is testing this area right in here. Now we don't know how far down it's going to go, but I'm going to just keep on pulling this moving average.
But are you surprised that you're getting a bounce on your trend line now, right where you're at? I mean, I'm not surprised.
Not at all. Not at all.
Like if it bounces there and then just breaks under, hey, awesome. I'd probably be in there with a very tight stop loss again for a short.
Yeah. Now now I'm looking for the pullback. I want to see a pullback to 23%. This is where the shaded area is. I want to see a pullback. I want to see this green moving average come up, not cross over the yellow, and then start having it coming back down again. German 30 M1 sell. We have a sell arrow. Here's our trend line. We do have some green zones down here. We did get the close So we did get to close below the 50, which means my next target is going to be down here. I'm going to see a pullback. I'd like to see a pullback to at least this 11.23. I would prefer to see the 23 for a little stronger pullback. But right now, what I can do is if it gets up to the 11, what I may just do is put a sell stop in right in this area at the 15,403. And that way, if it comes back down, it may come down and hit that next blue line. So I'm going to go with a trade, sell stop, mark the trade. If it comes back down, and it should, the fact it closed this blue line, below this blue line, I expected a target for this one. This would be my target down here. You know, and I also see that my entry is below this trend line. It came down. This could give us another. We had that one little head fake over in here before it went up. This could be another little head fake. But right now, the trend right now on this lower time frame is still heading on down. Let me check my Fibonacci's or my euro strength. Euro's getting stronger. The euro's getting stronger, then the index should be getting weaker, which would support the down direction. I'll see how far this pulls back. Right now it's pulled back right to the 11.8. Pulling back to test this moving average. This one's curling up. I like the fact it's curling up. Now, if it can start going, if this curls up and starts going up, I'm going to cancel this and wait and see if I can get a little bit better position. Right now, I'm looking to see somewhere in between the 23 and 38% retracement off of this move. It went up to 11.8, couldn't even get up to the 23. That's how it tells me it still has some downward pressure. And we just wait and see how this thing plays out here. And my target on this would probably be, I could probably use, depending on how far up, how far back it goes, my target will probably be somewhere around this trend line right here. And I would put that right about the 15,387. So I'm just gonna put that in here, modify, delete, modify, take profit, 15,387 for a target. And a stop, I'll be looking at somewhere around the 15,428 for right now, and then I'll move it, 15,428. 15,428, then I'll adjust this once I get this thing set. Here's my target for here's my take profit target, and my stop will be, once I see how far up it goes, then I can adjust this. Right now, I just have this out of harm's way. Right now, the stop is somewhere above the 50% retracement of this move, which is right in here. Let's expand this out a little bit. You notice that the moving averages haven't crossed yet. They're still in the right direction. We have the green, yellow, blue. Right now it's testing, the blue's flattening out. And we'll see how this starts to move back down again. I'm gonna move this thing over here so we can see what we're doing. My entry is right where that, right at the bottom of that wick. I'm gonna see this thing come down, break through this, and this will be my first move down, retracement, second move down, and it could be very much the length of this. This thing could go down quite a bit more. I'm only going to the bottom of this moving average here. I'm not in this trade yet. I'm still waiting to see how far it's going to pull back. It does have a couple little zones right here. We did get a down arrow. This could be followed by, this could be a bank induction. This thing could actually, the fact this has such a strong move up and came back down, this thing could go right back up again. But right now, I'm not going to be in this trade until I get a little bit more confirmation that that's going to be happening. This was a major whipsaw. People got in, they just took it. If you didn't take your profit, your thing is going up higher, you just got stopped out.
Absolutely. And if you didn't get stopped out, you're in big drawdown. And if you're in big drawdown, then you
Yep.
screwed up your head for the day. Because that kind of drawdown on even a 0.01 is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
So it's
So here
not.
you see,
Go
you
ahead.
see it's starting to come up. It's starting to come up and test this 23 and 38 zone, which is my little gray shaded area.
I don't like it. I don't know. It's. Let's see what happens here.
Move this thing over. Just move this thing over if I can. There we go. If it can come up, if I'm looking at this yellow green line right here on these moving averages. Right now, we see all this consolidation. We've got the yellow, the arrow moving average, here's our 200 down here, but everything else is all right here in this little consolidation area. Got a little bit of rejection.
Al, I think she's going down, man.
Just now well, I'm moving my entry right to this, right to the 0 line. If it breaks that 0 line, then I can be looking at coming down to came up almost to the 23, and my target area is going to be probably right about where this little space is between this green zone. That's probably going to be my target. Put my target right in. 0.5. Actually, I got a little bit higher lot size than I want. I'm going to delete that order. Come on. I'm going to delete that order. I'm going to change my lot size.
Delete it quick, Al. Delete it quick.
Heavy on that one. Yeah, I know.
Delete it quick.
0.05. Here, try that. There we go. With that, and I'm going to do a sell. And my target is going to be right about, I'm going to use my target of 15,393. Modify 15,393. Enter.
Oh, you're missing a number. I think
15,393 for the take profit. I don't have my stop in there yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my stop right here about. I'm gonna use the 61, the 15,420. I use that for the stop. 15,420. And I don't like the fact that this thing didn't break through the trend line.
Al, you need another 0 there. Okay, it came in. Okay. It's
Yeah,
the delay.
it's laggy. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
because I didn't see the other number too
Yeah.
on the other one, so I thought he
Right.
only
That's
put
really weird.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, but thanks.
Yeah, I was a little bit premature
Oh,
on that. I
that
probably should have
bounced.
let it come down to the trend line. It bounced, yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see what it does.
I don't like that candle formation.
No, I'm not crazy about this one either.
Because we know it already went way the heck up there really fast. So we'll see what happens.
There was a pretty strong rejection. Oh, this candle was a pretty strong rejection right at this point. The sellers
sure
came right
was.
in right at that point.
It sure was. And that was your origin of that entire run up, is right where you're at right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Look at that
So
wick.
if
I don't
it
like
takes
it.
my stop, it takes my stop. We'll see.
The only opportunity here is that you got in before it closed below the trend line. So we're watching like this, like a hawk, aren't you?
Slide this over. Slide this over. Here's my watch. This is this lagging just a little bit.
Yeah, we're staying under 23.
This over just a little bit. I'm gonna move right over to the corner. Yeah, it's still staying under the 23, but it may go up and retest that 23. I saw just a little bit premature getting in this thing. But I don't have that much room to the downside. I didn't want to give up too many pips to getting into this thing.
Right. I do like those zones.
A little bit of a flat top here. You're still having consolidation.
Mm-hmm. And your green hasn't crossed over your yellow yet. It's still staying under.
That is true, and that's important on the one, especially on the 1 minute. I would like, and we had this like it came up. That's why I kind of like this strong down. But that could have been a little bit of a head fake of the trend line. But the fact that this thing went up so hard and came back down again makes me think this thing was that this is going to be a drop basing and then a drop again. But no, like I said, I've been wrong before. Right now, my 23% zone is still holding. I don't have a close into that zone, but I did come up here and tagged it. Now it's coming back down again.
Now, Al, Cheryl would like to know, is it too late to enter this trade?
I would still wait till it breaks to the
Bottom.
I think at this point I would rather see an entry on a close below this trend line and maybe a retest. Oftentimes, if it comes up the 23, I may try and get in at the 11 taking. So I was just a little bit premature on this entry here. Internet connection is unstable. That's not good.
Yeah, I've been getting a little bit of
I am getting some pressure to the downside. So I'll say if it can break through this zero line, the fact that strong move down, came back 23%. If it breaks here, I could see it coming down to retest the 23 to 38% on the other side of that zero. And that's going to be right in here where my target is, right here, about 38. And actually, it's pretty much right up about where this little break between these two green zones. Oftentimes you get a level on a level, which is what you have here. You have two levels. It takes out the first one, the second one holds. So I'm not giving this thing a lot of room to the downside. We'll just see what I can get out of this thing. My stop is still up here above we came up to 23, so my stop is somewhere here around the 61 area, this mark right here. The fact that this thing came down close below this heavy blue line and it retraced back, didn't hold this one, I still have a good feeling that it's going to come back down to take out the next heavy blue line, which is this one right down here at the 38. But we'll see. It still has to kind of get through this little point right here.
it's just sitting on that trend line now.
Yep. It's still consolidating. The more it goes sideways, probably the harder it's going to break in one direction or the other. If I get stopped out, I have maybe a good chance of maybe getting back in on the long to come back up here and retest this area up in there. Here's a nice drop. Here's a little drop. Here's a little green candle in between. Drop. Now it could come back up and retest this little area, this little zone. Here's a drop. Here's a little basing right here, which is right above where my target zone is. Again, the green didn't cross the yellow. It's just still gone. Just there now. Just made a little higher green zone there. That's not good. And if it starts going too much sideways and doesn't break out the way I'm wanting to, or then I might just close it straight out, because if it goes too far before it confirms what you're planning on doing, or what your expectations or what your plan is, a lot of times the further it goes, the more candles you get where it just doesn't do anything, you're better off in just getting out and wait until it makes its confirmation. You may have to take a small loss on this one. Right now I'm still only 6, basically I'm not even 7 pips to the negative on this. It could also give you like a little wake up, just enough to take my stop out and then come right back down again. Yeah, let's see. Anything else in the works while we're looking at this?
All right. Well, my work day is about to start, my friends. I need to bail.
Okay.
But, we'll see you tomorrow
Matt.
morning.
I'll keep us. All right. Talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
And so right now, this zone here is still holding. I mean, it might take a little bit of heat on this. I might even get stopped out. I don't want to put my stop too much higher than where it is, because if I get stopped out, then it'll still give me opportunity to get back in when it changes direction, whichever direction that may be. But I do have a little bit of it. If I can take this, let's see. There's a nice little rejection off of this zone. If it comes down, tags that, and can't get past that, if it starts getting up higher, I'll just bail on this trade. And I think I'm just going to wait for this candle to close and see where it ends up. Find a lot of it comes down here and pushes back up again. So there are a significant amount of buyers right in this little area right in here. There's a real battle going on between the buyers and the seller right at this point. Now the question, who's going to win the battle? You just see how tight this has been for the last, how many minutes has that been? This has been the last 19 minutes. It's just been going in a very, very tight range. Let's see if this thing's going to break down too. If it breaks to the zero, I'm still looking at this area right in here. Let's see where my euro is. Euro's getting, it's right, again, it's right in the middle. No real clear direction. And I'm going to bail on this. This thing bounced off of that. Looks like it's coming right back up. I don't want to take a full stop out. And usually I don't have to take a full stop. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Now we're looking to see, it still may come back up. It still may end up dropping off, but right now there's no trade here. It's still too much time waiting to decide. Usually if it's going to go, it's usually going to go within 1 or 2 candles, not 19. Like here we got like 19 candles, still trying to decide which way it's going to go. We need to have some clear decisiveness to figure out which way. And I would not be surprised to see it come back up and retest this area up in here and then break down again. We have the crossover of the moving averages. And it's coming up into this 38. Now, if this can close up, this thing looks like it's going to come back to the upside.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
We have a few potential setups on the pound. We have on the 15
Okay,
minutes.
let's take a look. Let's just let this one. Let's let this one go.
We have the pound CAD and the pound yen.
It's on the pound.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah. CB flagged the pound CAD, and
Yes.
he'd be more than happy to come over if you would like to turn him over.
Oh, okay. Let me go. Let me go get CB over here. With the CCB. If I can find him. There he is. And hello, CB. Good to see you.
Hey there, Al. Hey,
Hi,
Kristen.
CB.
Hello. Yeah, the GB
Pound
CAD,
CAD.
it's not ready yet, but while we're waiting, the GBP CAD looks like it could be a setup in the next hour.
Okay, let's take a look at this. While we're doing that, let's take a look at our German 30. We just had a 1 minute buy on that one. I'm glad I got out of that one. Here's a nice little, here's our retracement.
Look how it's separating out.
Here's our zones from this way. And let's go to the upside. Here it came back. There's a 50% retracement of this down move. I'm just going to stay away from this right now because right now it's kind of indecisive. It's strong move up, strong move down, basing, strong move up, hit the 50, 60%. This area right in here is, oops, I didn't want to do that. Don't know which way it's going to go, so I'm staying away from it until I can be a little bit more conclusive. On a 15-minute chart, let's redraw this again. I don't like losing, but I don't like, I'd be careful not to do revenge trade, saying, okay, I'm going to try and get my money back on it. Don't get caught up into that. A strong wick up. There's a lot of action right here in this little area. Just stay away from it. And British CAD, let's take a look at this one. From the 15 minutes, we had an up arrow. This could be like a bank induction I'd be looking at.
It's a neutral.
Which is our direction on this? We have.
Yeah, there's no trend.
Neutral? No direction?
Yeah, but if you go to the higher time frame,
Okay.
it's trending down. So I was looking as a potential.
Okay, let me get my, my moving averages in here. Everything's moving in the up direction. Here's the pullback. Here's a nice move up, breakout. Here's a higher high. Here's a higher low. So here's the new range right now. Let's see. We have, it is trending on the upside with a, let's go with the yesterday's low to yesterday's high. See how far that went to the upside. Broke out of the top. Let's just use this now since it was rejected up here.
The pound and the Canadian dollar, the two strong currencies right now.
Pound, they're both too strong. That's not good. That's hard. So which one's going to win? Which one's going to win the race is the question on that.
Canadians,
I like seeing the spread. I don't like seeing them both together. Canadians the stronger of the two.
Yep.
Here's our upper 25. Let's see, get my mouse here. Here's our lower 25. Comes from all the way over here, way back and over this range. Take it to that area. Mark our zones. See which way it's going to. See if it's going to come back into this 38. We got the pole. It's getting out of the 23 area. We're looking at the 38 to the 50 to the 61. Go to our lower time frame. We marked our zones. We're going to redraw our Fibonacci's. Do that. And now we're going to see what this thing's going to do. I'm going to come to a 5-minute chart, see if we get a 5-minute close below. Okay, or it's pulling it out. We got the 5-minute close below the 23. I want to see if it comes dip back down. We have the crossover of the green and yellow. At the break of the arrow moving average. I'm looking for this thing to come down and then give me a little retest. I want to see this. I want to see something of a retest, perhaps maybe in right now. Here we have a little trend going down. This is almost like if you ever listened to Corey yesterday, you listened to like our A, B, C. Actually, this is almost a 5-wave move down. A little bit more than just the A, B, C. So I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback. Oh, I missed that. Didn't want to do that. I'm going to redraw my fib so I know where that line's supposed to be at. I have an idea. Take it to the top of here. Top of there, take it to the bottom of the blue area. Here's where that line is, needs to be right in this area, right about there. All right, so now this thing's coming down. Here's the high. Here's the low coming in, tagging the 200 moving average. Check to see where our strength is right now. Looks like the CAD should be showing stronger. CAD is strong. British pound's losing a lot of strength here on the lower time frame. CAD is now strong on 3 of the 4. So if this, we'll see where this thing stops. And then our target area to enter the trade would be, right now it's closed. All the moving averages are in the right direction. It's breaking through the 200. Coming in on the first blue line right here. See, they get the close. Once we get the close of that, we can look for the pullback. And it didn't close right now below that line. So I'll be looking for the pullback being somewhere around about where this red zone is up here. That's my connection. Can anybody still hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I lost everybody or everything here.
No. Yeah, we have your chart now.
Okay, I'm gonna reverse this. Here's the low. Here's the high. Here's the break. Now it didn't close on our 5-minute chart. It didn't close. It wicked down, but it didn't break. I'd like to have seen it close below this heavy blue line. And we'll see where it retraces. Strong move up. I kind of almost favor the fact there's such a strong move up, and this is just a retracement. It almost makes me want to go more to the upside than to the downside. Especially with the fact the British CAD was so, CAD and the British are still, the CAD still maintains strength over the British pound, but here on the 30 minutes still stronger. I'd probably rather trade a pair that was a little bit better spread between the currencies. Let's see what other ones we have to offer here. CAD Swiss, let's try to take a look at that one. Take a look at that on the, yeah. That's strong on the CAD there. About 43 pips zone in between the two. CAD is stronger on that one. So I like to see this one. It hasn't really come back to had a strong, fairly nice move down. I'm on a 1 minute. If I go on a 1 minute chart, this is not a real, look at the angle of this first move versus the angle of this move. This move tends to be a little bit more gentle coming back down. I would be more apt to think they may want to go to the upside.
Also,
the 1 minute chart right now is still going down. Boy,
a new support.
This is just.
Hey,
go
Al,
ahead.
look at the M15 real quick. For it.
The M15 on this one.
Further, verifies. You see that new support wasn't there before.
Yeah.
That green zone just came, so now it's tightened up.
This one here.
Yep, that's brand new.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like this thing to the upside. It's just this is basically retracing back to the.
Yeah. Well, the M15
the first Fibonacci.
M15 has an uptrend now to it, so if we can get a bounce off that new zone, it could be a good entry point for a buy. It was looking like a nice setup for a sell, but yeah, I hear everything you're saying there.
Yeah, this thing, the fact this was such a strong, this is a little bit almost like what the German 30 did. It was a strong move up, pulled back, and then it had a fairly deep retracement, and then it went on back up again.
You
Here's
had a
where this was a strong move.
You had a fractal high up there in the red zone, and obviously there was a fractal trade you could have made there, and it would have been a pretty nice trade. But at this point, it might bounce off that MA 200 there on the M15.
Yeah, it looks like it did. Right here, you got this heavy blue line right here, which is that was our 38% line from the up move, right at the 200, bounced off the 200 moving average. I would like to see the 1 minute close and start moving all these moving averages move in the upper direction before I take this thing long. If I go to a 1 minute chart. Yes, Christine.
Anne would like to know, where is the best place to start the fibs in an uptrend and or downtrend?
I usually try to find the last major high and last major low. I draw the direction off of those, and then I look for the retracements into those zones. In other words, like I go from here to here with a higher time frame, and then I look for this move. Then I reverse the Fibonacci's. I go from here to here for the higher time frame, draw my zones. Now in this case, I went a little bit longer. I'm on a 1 minute chart. If I go to I usually start with like a 15 or a 30 minute chart and see where was the last significant high, which is right here. The last significant low was right here. I would draw from the low to the high, finding out where the range of, actually you could have used this high right here. Actually, that probably would have been just a little bit better. This high to this low, that's the last, and everything. I look to see where the price is in between the last high and the last low. And then I draw it from that range, and then I start looking for the retracements inside of that range. But usually I like to start no less than a 15-minute. I usually like to start with the 15 minutes. Sometimes I'll go up to a 30 or a 1 hour chart. The other thing you can do too is look and see where was the price action of the day before, and are you inside like right here, here's the new day. This was yesterday's high, this was yesterday's low, and that's where I drew this one, pretty much from yesterday's high to low. Once this got broken, then I just kept this anchor, but I went to the new high as it's pulling back. So it's actually making new highs, and it's making higher lows. So here's your yesterday's high, made another high. Here's yesterday's low, and made a higher low. We can actually draw a trend line from this point to the new low right here. So that's a higher low. Oh, come on. Here's the trend. Just connect the dots. So here's a low, here's a high, higher low, higher high. It's actually trending, but it's very slight, very slow, gradual trend. So it's really kind of somewhat range bound in between this red zone and this green zone. Nice pullback, strong move up, pulled back to the, from this range, it pulled back to the, pretty much the, so wait a minute, this, where it bounced off this trend line, which is where the new low, the buyers came in here, pushed it back up. Now we have this little range right here. Right now it's pulled back to the, actually it's pulled back to 61% retracement of this up move. And that's where you're going to start seeing it's either going to break down and go lower, or it's kind of stuck in this range right now. Here's a drop, here's a little bit of base. This thing could still go lower. We just don't know exactly where it's going to go. And it's, right now, there's a lot of iffy moves here today. Let's see, what's this? Let's see. Yeah, I usually like to go back a couple of days and see where the highest high and highest low is. And then that determines what range I'm in. Now I'm just looking for pullbacks inside into trend lines or into Fibonacci lines. I like seeing when you have a moving average, a trend line, and a Fibonacci line all coming in the same spot. That's usually a pretty high energy point. Like right here, you see where here's the fib line, here's our 200 moving average, and that's right where this thing took off and launched. Right now it's kind of stuck. So the buyers are coming in here, the sellers are coming up here. Right now you're in the middle of the whole range. I'd be pretty much at this point, you probably need to just wait till it gets to a retest of the high or a retest of the low, and then try and catch that middle area, which in this case would be from this high to this low. We can pull this down here to right to there. That's right at this point. I just moved it over. And now here's our middle third right in this area. And this is where the decision gets to be made of whether or not it's going to break down to the bottom or going to break out to the top, right in this little area right in here. Go to a lower time frame to watch the moving averages. I like to go to 1 minute to see the consolidation, see the cross. Here's a low, here's a higher low. If this green can cross the yellow, I'd say this thing's going to go to the upside. We have a down arrow. Now if I can get an up arrow, then this line right here would be, actually this zone should probably be the target, and you're not going to have that much room. That's 12 pips, not too bad. Now also then I want to check and see which is stronger, the British or the CAD. Come over here to my other chart. British is still strong, CAD strong, CAD strong. Right now it's mixed. There's no real clear decisive. They're both pretty much together. It's a crapshoot with which way it's going to go. I'd like to see a little bit more decisiveness. But right now it's inside this 60 to 38 zone. Not really trying to break out of it too much. Kind of going sideways. Ideally, I like seeing it come out of the 70, 25, upper 25 area, come down, close below this first one, get the close below this one, come back, retest it, target here. Close below, come back, retest it, target here. But right now, it's we don't have the confirmation either way. And I like to see, make sure that these zones are have enough room. That's the 13.5, which is pretty typical for the zones. And that gives us enough room for the target. But we didn't get the close. See that where it came down wicked right there? Didn't close. Which is making me think this thing may want to go up higher. If we get everything to move in the right direction, it could come up and retest this area. And I would be expecting, let's see, actually from here to here, this is the upper 25% of this range. And here's the lower 25%. This is still trying to go down. But we have enough room in here for the 15, again, towards our 15 pip move. And all you're trying to do is get 7 of it. Let's see how other things are doing here for us. Do this up, move this up here. How's our German 30 doing? What does it do, finally do? It's coming back up to retest that high. I'm glad I got out of that trade. Now the question is, it's going to break it. So this is that strong move up. This is where that, whatever announcement that was, moved it up, came back down, retested it. Right now it's sort of range bound.
Was that our U.S. announcement? Was that our U.S. announcement at E30?
No, this was, let's see, what time was this? This is probably about, let's see, 7 hours, 7, 8. It'll be about 8 o'clock where this thing happened, right about 8 o'clock. I don't know that was a U.S. announcement. It seemed like a rather random time to have just a strong spike like that. I don't know what caused that. that spike. Strong move up, pull back. Now it's just taking this lazy river going on up to retest this area. Now I'm staying away from it. How about the UK? About 3 more minutes before the next session. So we're going to be wrapping this thing up. And UK 30. Again, a lot of wicks around in here. Real wicky here, real wick here, but lots of wicks. It's hard to trade those. And with that, I think we're going to go and wrap this thing up for the day. Sorry we didn't get any good trades for you today. This would happen sometimes, but tomorrow's Friday. We'll come back and try it again, see what we have. On that note, any other last minute questions before we go?
No, if you can just go to the 888 room later.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Christine, thanks for your help. CB, thanks for your help. And everybody, as always, we appreciate you coming in, giving us your input. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care. Stay green. We'll see you then.